Hello, 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 my loves, and happy Transformation Tuesday as we lean in to see what are the messages and guidance coming through this week with the Rider-Waite Tarot and the Oracle of the Mermaids. From the depths of the ocean, what messages are you ready to receive? Are you ready to embrace? And what paths and experiences are you open to moving through? Staying for a short time or a long time, how are we feeling today? Settling in. Breathing. And receiving. Thank you, spirits, angels, ancestors. We started off and we got the Lovers. Loving yourself, making the decision, rather than looking at what is, say, maybe leaving your life or not going quite the way that you want it to. This week, you're really being reminded, collaborate. Good morning, Jen. Welcome to the room. You're given the sit and reflect, right? Where have you been, say, maybe holding on to things in the past, or, not actually allowing yourself to recognize just how good things can be through collaborations, through sharing your energy, through giving yourself permission to network, to expand, to explore. I just heard putting yourself out there, the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So it's this, like, anything is possible, but it's almost like, are you blocking yourself because some teeny tiny little story or voice in the back of your head is like, but what if this happens, or what if this isn't enough, or what if? And you can continue to ask yourself, what if, keeping yourself awake at night, or you can sit with that and go, okay, I can give my energy to what if it doesn't work, but I can also give my energy to what if it does? What if it is better than I could even imagine? What if, the difference, everything I'm looking for is literally on the other side of me making the decision to choose this over here versus this over here. And it's almost like I can see like a person having like two options. And so when you sit with that and you allow yourself and go, okay, like allow yourself almost this, like, get lost in the grounded observation is what I just heard. And so it's, you're observing potential paths and experiences, and you're allowing yourself to, go through it, but you're not holding any attachments to what it is that you're observing as you're doing this. It's you're observing to learn, you're witnessing to grow, and giving yourself the permission to be like, okay, this resonates. Ooh, this feels really good. This maybe doesn't. And, allow yourself to shift and adjust as needed, because you're training, you're doing the work, and you're bringing yourself back and bringing yourself back and bringing yourself back. And that bringing yourself back isn't about, berating or beating yourself up, being all like, well, but I didn't learn my lesson. Maybe at the end of the day you did, and this process of it, bringing it back, is because now you're showing up differently, and you don't notice a lot of this stuff until like after the fact. It's in like hindsight when you're going through something else down the road, and then all of a sudden you have like this aha epiphany moment, and you're like, oh, that's why that happened that way, so that I could this and this and this, or, you know, and allow yourself to be in that and settle in and trust and grow and learn, because what you're doing in this process, page 1, you're showing yourself that you have that ability, right? Pages are all about like new beginnings. You're starting something, you're building. And then wands is all about your passions, your creativity, that fire. So you're allowing yourself to build something that sets your soul on fire, and give yourself that permission to dream big. Allow yourself, because we have the nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, which is really, I mean, yes, being in the reverse is like, in the upright, it's like strong and stable and independence, and you're grounded. Pentacles are all about like stability and home life, finances, abundant. It's the groundedness of it. And then the 9 of Pentacles is like, you're coming full circle, you're rebuilding, you're amplifying. It's at the bottom of the deck again. So give yourself permission to witness and recognize how supported and whole you actually are, rather than not. 3 of Pentacles just came out again. Oh my god, all the cards. No, thank you. That's too many. Alright, spirits. What do you want us to know? Where are we going? If you're feeling out of balance, bringing yourself back. Balancing, like, everything, right? Healing and growing, but then also allowing yourself, walking away from the things that are not serving. Finding the balance. You're finding the balance between, like, I always have to be healing, or I always have to be doing this, or, you know, you're allowing yourself to actually do the work. If you've been feeling kind of out of sorts, if you've been feeling off balance, this is that sign for you to really, like, give yourself permission. Take the break, step out, sit in silence, journal, you know, allow yourself to do the work. What does it mean for you to integrate, right? To show up as that future version of yourself within the here and now. So if you're building like a passion project, is what I just heard, you know, you have to be willing to collaborate and be balanced in the, it's going to take time putting the pieces together. Like, it's not a one and done. It's almost kind of what I just heard is like, you don't go to the gym, work out once, and get a 6-pack. Like, it's doing it even on the days that you don't want to, and it's allowing yourself to be where you are and giving yourself that permission. So what blocks and challenges? So forgiving. Letting go of the burden. With the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck right at the moment. So you literally have this, like, you're letting go of overgiving. You're letting go of people pleasing. You're letting go of, it's 10:23 on my clock right at the moment. You're letting go of this self-sacrifice. And you're recognizing that you have the power to be so committed. Like, the Hierophant speaks of like a high level commitment. So something that is big, something that is global. You're making changes. You are changing lives. You're inspiring people. And then you have the 10 of Pentacles, which is that like stability. It's home life. It's abundance. It's prosperity. It's like the better than the happy ever after card. And what you're doing is you're giving, you're letting go of this feeling like you have to give all of this energy to all of these other people over here, and you're giving it back to yourself. And through that, you're beginning to recognize your abundance. And then you're being so committed to that goal and that dream, and, you know, letting go of that sacrificing yourself for other people, so that you can believe in your own ability to actually create that dream. And being committed to it to the point where it's one of those, like, it doesn't matter what happens, I know that I will get there. And you just got to do it. Sometimes, like, do it scared. Do it not knowing all of the answers. Do it, you know, take the first step. And what does that first step feel like for you? Get out of your head, too. All right. What are we unaware of? What do we not see as we go through this? What do you want us to be aware of to help us show up? Walking away from the battles that don't serve. So the Seven of Swords is like, it's a yellow card, so it is a very positive card. And then Swords is all about, like, your minds, the intellect, and, you know, what you're doing is you're walking away from the naysayer. You're walking away from that little tiny voice inside your head that's like, but what if this, and what if? Well, no, you're meeting that person. This is what I hear is very much like, meet that voice, sit and have a conversation with it, whether that's journaling, whether it's vision boarding, whether it's, you know, recording yourself. It doesn't matter, but what you have to do is you have to bring awareness to what those thoughts are and what those language patterns are, so that you can reframe them. And that means slowing down, taking a step, practicing the pause, and really reflecting and being like, is this going to really help me get to where I want to go? Or is this, you know, something that is an old energy from my past that is ready for me to let go? And the more and more that you do that, the more and more that you let go of the burden, and you let go of the past narratives, and you let go of the stories, and you let go of the people pleasing, the more and more you take all of that energy that you've been expelling into all of these things out here, and you begin to bring them back into you. You begin to bring them back into your own dreams, your own desires. You know, so if there was no limitation, if there were no obstacles, there were no, you know, challenges, if anything was possible, what would you be doing? And what would be your why behind that? Why does that matter to you? Why is that important for you? What is that within your own self that is calling you to do that? And if you're not sure, that's okay. It's, you know, allow yourself the space to have a conversation, ask yourself some questions, you know, put the pieces together so that you can figure it out, and allow yourself to reflect. What does it mean in your world for you to see the bigger picture? Where are you right now? What do you want to create? And then even, like, work your way backwards. What are the environments that you need to put yourself in? And, you know, allowing yourself to recognize. The biggest thing too is also believe that it is possible. King of Cups. So this isn't necessarily about male or female. The Kings is very much that masculine energy, and Cups is all about your emotions. So what you're doing is emotional stability is what I just heard. So emotional regulation, somatic healing, moving your body, breath work, meditations, sitting with your emotions, because emotions are energy in motion, and you have to feel it to heal it. Because through the process of you feeling it, what you're doing is you're feeling it with non-attachment. So you're allowing yourself to look and, you know, reflect on those emotions that are coming up, and rather than like getting angry at yourself for being sad, or, you know, being upset, or, you know, having fear, or say like sabotaging yourself, you're allowing yourself to sit with that and go, okay, when you think of a child learning to walk, How many times did they stumble? How many times did they fall? How many times did they just stand up and stand there? And it's all part of the process. So ground yourself within your own emotional stability so that, you know, when you're in those emotions, you're not getting pulled and deterred in all of these different directions. What you're doing is you're grounded within your own sense of safety and security, within your own worthiness, so that you can reflect on those emotions and be like, okay, what are you showing me? What am I moving through? You know, what is coming up for me right at the moment? And then give yourself permission to walk away, right? To walk away from what doesn't serve. You got the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck, but it's in the reverse. And then you have the Six of Cups. So this is really all about you finding that balance. And with the Six of Swords, right, when you think of it in the upright, it's like moving into calmer waters. So allow yourself to move into those calmer waters, because the more and more you bring yourself back to that sense of safety and security, the more and more the bigger problems seem less scary, because your sense of wholeness and fullness is within you always and completely. You know, it's like you've heard me say it before. My favorite like motto and slogan is, whether you find yourself in a space of hot mess express or eagles in a row with flow, you are always worthy, forever whole, and completely enough, just like stardust. Because you are stardust. That's the thing, is you are from the galactics. Your energy having a physical human experience. And so when you're recognizing that, and rather than, you know, beating yourself up, and I know that it can be hard sometimes when you feel and you're like, okay, but I've been like, you know, but Stephanie, I've been in this space for so long, and oh my God, and when does it end? And, you know, I get it, and I've been there, and allow yourself to sit with that and go, okay, what part of you still doesn't believe that it's possible? And how can you meet that space and that energy and remind yourself that the more and more that you show up in that energy of having those things and living that life, and, you know, loving your body and loving your mind and loving your soul, letting go of judgment, and allow yourself to just be in the moment. So you've got judgment with the Eight of Wands in the reverse. So recognize that, like, if you've grown up, especially in, say, like an environment, and letting go of your judgment of your emotions. When we're thinking about the judgment, right? Judgment of yourself or others is deeper aspects of your internal healing that you still have yet to experience. And then the Eight of Wands being in the reverse is allowing yourself to recognize that it takes time. A 1% shift every single day holds a far greater impact than trying to maintain a 360-degree flip overnight. So allow yourself to take the time. Allow yourself to continue to show up, right? Show up messy, show up together, show up sad, show up not knowing, and give yourself that permission to embrace all parts of you and all of it along the way. I just heard, like, life is the messy bits, and yet we're conditioned to try and keep everything neat and clean. So it's like we're unaccepting of the truth of life, but then wondering why we're not getting what it is that we're asking for. And it's like, you've got to embrace that messiness, because you are grounded and solid within yourself. So whatever's going on out here is just showing you parts of, like, in here that are, you know, still feeling unsafe, they're untethered, they're unsure, and recognizing, right? But don't judge yourself for that. Give yourself the space to go through it, to be where you're at, because that's how you move through it, and not hold on to it. The Seven of Pentacles, looking at the work you've done and witnessing the fruits of your labor and how they're coming in. So acknowledging the prosperity, the work that you're doing, reflecting on how far up the mountain you've already come. Don't always look at how far you have to go, right? It's, again, even with this balance point of, okay, reflecting on this past part. I actually heard this quote yesterday that was like, when you can share your life story and it doesn't make you cry, that's how you know you've healed. So when you can share the things that you've experienced, when you can share the sad and, you know, the tumultuous, like, unnerving pieces and the unfair bits of life, and you're not emotionally attached to it, that's how you know that you've healed. Allowing yourself to talk about these things and not, you know, attach your sense of worthiness or wholeness or anything like that to what you have experienced, because it doesn't build your identity unless you choose to do that. So what is the end goal? The Six of Swords, moving into calmer waters, getting out of your own head. The Ace of Wands, allowing yourself to be surprised by the universe and getting excited about it. Oh my God, and I love this. What you don't see is the world. You're welcome. I'm so happy that this is resonating. Okay, well, I will take those. We have the Hierophant again. We have the Devil in the reverse. So allowing yourself to let go of that sense of lack, limitation. You're letting go of the stories and the narratives of not enoughness. I'm like, I love this thing. And I'm like, why are you being a bit much? Anyways. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. So celebrate your abundance, celebrate your prosperity, celebrate when you think about the Queen of Cups, right? So overall, this week, your guides are literally like, it's this, I just heard, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you're going to hold on to the lack and the limitations, then you're going to continue to experience lack and limitation. But if you acknowledge, right, like it comes, it happens, there's a whole lot of like dense, heavy, lack, limitation, struggle, hardship, like in the collective right at the moment. So I'm very much getting this, like, don't attach yourself to it. Be aware of it, yes. But recognize and have like check-in points throughout your day and be so committed to that goal, because the universe is wanting to support you. And even if we do this, we're gonna put that there and just have this like, oh my God. Now I get it. Now I get it. Thank you. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles, the Three of Cups. You have literally the Hierophant. Okay, and I giggled because as I was going, I was like, wait, we need the center card. So this end goal, right, the outcome of what you're moving into is letting go. When you think about the devil, like the devil is not something to be feared. What it is it's showing you where you are held within this space of like lack, limitation, restriction, right? When you think about like the ties and binds, but is that actually yours, or is it, say, generational? Is it collective? Is it ancestral? Is it, you know, everything? And so when you're going through all of this, bringing yourself into the space, right? Recognizing even when you're not in an energy of like, you don't have the full dream yet, right? You're still showing up as if it already is. You're living your life in a space of gratitude and abundance and appreciation, no matter what's going on. You're celebrating how far you've come. You're celebrating what is working. Yes, you're acknowledging what isn't working, but again, rather than berating yourself for it or beating yourself up for this, like, I failed because I'm not good enough, what you're doing is you're reframing the stories. You're walking away from that past energy to be the Queen of Pentacles. feminine energy, receiving, the queen, and then grounding in the foundations of stability, finance, happy ever after, right? You know, she's birthing new ideas. She's creative. She's holding her pentacle softly. She's not clutching onto it as if she's going to lose it. She's holding it freely and confidently because it is her. And underneath this Hierophant is literally the motherfucking sun. The sun. You are the sun. This is like main character energy. Your guides every single day this week, they're like, wake up and be the sun in your own life. Set your intentions in the morning. Ground your energy. Be so committed to that future version of yourself, and then let go of a timeline, right? Like, let go of this, I need this to happen in this time, in this space, in order for me to believe that it actually is. No. We've had it backwards for so many years. And trust me, I'm right here with you. And I heed these messages as much as you do of, you know, the more and more that you show up and it is coming and it is done. And, you know, I actually have this song and it's by Bella International. And I don't know if you've heard it or not, but I can toss it down in the comments once this is posted after. And it is called It Is Done. And it's so funny because I actually made it one of my ringtones for my alarm in the morning. So at like 6:15 in the morning, every single morning when I'm right in that like awaking state, I have this song that comes on. And sometimes I'll be like cognitive and awake enough to be listening. And I'm listening to the words and I'm in this like meditative state. And then other times I'm not and I wake up after. But the thing is, in those waking hours, it's still being integrated into my mind, but into my subconscious mind. And I've been noticing more and more, even in the spaces of, say, like, you know, the moments where I've got like $2 in my bank account and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to make this work. Oh my God. And it's all like, it is done. 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 And it's on automatic. Now it's automatic rather than, so I'm aware of it and everything that is in this space right at the moment. But I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I'm moving over here. I'm doing this. This is coming. I'm opening this. I'm putting my energy into this over here and being the sun. I'm allowing myself to be so committed to this over here. No matter what happens along the way, I'm letting go of the lack and limitation. And then within like 12 hours or 24 hours, somebody books something or some connection comes or, you know, this happens or this comes through. And then it just goes click, 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 click. Right? And I didn't get here overnight. This was through like working with mentors and guides and meeting myself and catching myself and bawling and crying and screaming and raging and doing all of the things, but allowing myself to do it with no judgment. And that is where some of the greatest shifts and transformations have happened, is through letting go of the judgment, allowing yourself to be where you're at and recognizing that it's all part of the process. This is all part of your soul's contract because this is what you came here to do. So when you look at what you're experiencing in your life and you let go of the physical 3D human attachments to the outcome, to the parties, to the people, to whatever it is, and you recognize that everything is always working in my favor, everything is always working out to my highest good, and I continue to show up as this future version of myself, by default, naturally, you will start to attract situations and experiences that are in vibration with this version of you over here versus this version of you back here. Because you're choosing this energy over here. And the more and more and more that you do it, then you get to this point where, you know, you're meeting yourself in this space. And we have the timeout card, literally on this. So taking that time out, right? Awareness, contemplation, solitude, time alone. awareness, though. That's the thing, is you have to disconnect from the external world to bring yourself back into your internal awareness and truth. Wow. That was like, boom. You have to disconnect from the external world. And we open it to the Atlantis. That is hilarious. I love this card. But it is in the reverse. So it says rapid development, excellence, and success. So to me, in the upright is very much like this is coming and everything. But in the reverse, it's like allowing yourself to take its time. You're shifting, you're transforming. And again, you have to be willing to see how it is all working in your favor rather than holding on to what isn't. Because if you don't, then again, you're going to block yourself. Energy field adjustments, aura cleansing, and health. So this to me is very much that, the energy field adjustment is, if you've been feeling kind of off or something, book a reading, book a session, do a session on yourself if you're knowing how to do that, right? I mean, it is easier, the collaborations card with the Three of Pentacles. It is easier and you do get further working with somebody rather than trying to do it on your own. And deep emotional healing, you can't do 100% on your own because your ego is going to stop you every time. And I know this from personal experience. But there's no shame in that, right? And sometimes even like one session or one reading or one connection is all that you need for you to just make those teeny tiny little shifts, and then you can go boom, 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 boom. Keep going. Give yourself that permission. Meet yourself in those spaces and recognize, like, deep emotional healing, Song of the Siren, the call summoning voice to acknowledge. Deep emotional healing is a rigmarole of back and forth and up and down. And one day you're like 10 steps ahead. The next day you're 5 steps back. And then you're 2 steps forward. And you're 6 steps back. And then you're 7 steps forward and 2 steps back. And, it's up, down, in, out, round and around, like flying all over the place. And when you can allow yourself, here's the thing, and if you're, depending on where you are in the like deep emotional healing journey, you may not be able to be in this space just yet, and that's okay, because you could still be in the space of like, everything's happening to me and all of the things. But if you give yourself permission to breathe, to ground, to recognize that you are exactly where you're meant to be and that you hold the power to move through it all, what you're doing is you're learning how to connect back in with your own highest self. You're learning how to connect back in, energy field adjustment again. So this is really like aura cleansing and health. What are the things that you watch? What are the foods that you eat? Are you drinking water? Are you nourishing your body? Have you had a shower today? Like cleansing it. Sacrifice. There are those worth making. There are those that will destroy you. And that's the thing is, allow yourself. Practice that pause. Don't just jump into it and, do all of the things really willy and nilly and all like, I have to give and give and give and give and give. No, right? That Six of Pentacles in the reverse, you're no longer people pleasing. You're no longer just giving to give, to give, to give, to give. What you're doing is you're learning how to be in that space, taking that time out, taking action. But are you taking the time out with intention? Also, if you're interested in joining the Alchemist Lounge or trying it out risk-free, you can join for your first 30 days. See if you love it. This is where we do readings, we do guided meditations, Reiki healing, inner child healing. It is home of DaMeGa Flow Embodiment sessions. You also get a discount on the website. So you can join you get a free 30-day trial. So when you sign up, you've got 30 days. If you love it, great. It's then an $88 monthly investment moving forward. If you don't like it, then you can cancel it anytime and then you wouldn't be charged. So if you are interested, let me know and you can check it out. It's so fun. There's over 100 hours worth of content in the online portal already. And daily lives and special events. We do also, there's a cord cutting video in there and breath work and all sorts of stuff. All right, one more. What else do our mermaids have for us? We have the return of Aphrodite, which is all about temple, birth of the goddess, guidance, goddess energy, treating as sacred. So this is really, even again, with that energy field adjustment, what would it mean for you to treat yourself as sacred? What would it mean for you to give yourself as much care as you give to everybody else? And what would it mean for you to do that with no shame? No guilt, with no, you know what, like you're just doing you for you. You're loving yourself. You're choosing yourself. You're giving your energy. Dreams, vivid dreaming, dream messages, dream teaching. So are you a dreamer? Do you remember your dreams? Because your dreams are always speaking to you. And we have time and tide, oceanic spells and rituals, creating the energy. And then we also have the yearning at the bottom of the deck in the reverse, longing for someone, undesired separation, and pining. So to me, a lot of that is really, you know, like insistence creates resistance. And, you know, if you're insisting on something being a certain way, then you're blocking it from being what it is meant to be. And the energy this week is really, you know, like, what would it mean for you to do even a 15-minute meditation that's just, you know, calling your power back and disconnecting you from everybody else's energy, creating a practice in the morning and at night, bringing yourself back into center, bringing yourself back into your own sense of wholeness, the oneness, right? Being committed to what is your divine identity that you want to give your energy to, and what does that look like for you? So allow yourself to go through the energy field adjustments, right? Allow yourself to cleanse it out. You know, this is different frequencies, tones, you know, listening first thing in the morning. Your first 15 minutes right after you wake up are absolutely crucial. So make the most of them. Recreate that routine and that ritual for the morning, because it's not selfish. It's creating different practices to help you show up for your day better, so that you're not going through like this massive energy drain at the end of the night. Because again, if you're giving and giving and giving and giving and giving to everybody else, but you're never giving to yourself, then how are you filling your own cup? And your guides really want you to, you know, like, allow yourself to be where you are this week. Let go of the deception. Let go of those stories and those narratives, and give yourself permission to live in the energy of it already is. Because you are enough and you are loved. And again, at the center of this all, the return of Aphrodite, right? Temple, goddess. What does it mean for you to be the goddess of your own life? Give yourself that permission. Love yourself along the way. Be in that heart space of, I am worthy of loving the life that I am living, and allowing myself to witness the beauty and miracles that are already surrounding me. Let go of the lack. Let go of the limitations. And I mean, if you're not feeling inspired, that's okay. That means you just need a time out. You know, go take yourself outside, ground with a tree, go for a walk, turn your face to the sun, read a book, dance it out. do whatever it is that is going to bring you back into that center of wholeness for you, because that is what is most important this week. Loving yourself along the way, no matter where you find yourself. So this is what I have for you. I hope that it helps. If you would like a more personalized reading, please feel free to reach out and connect me. I do offer them both in person, virtual, and also pre-recorded. If you are like, oh my God, my schedule is crazy, I want a reading, but I don't know when, I can also pre-record them. So let me know if you would like to connect. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your light. I love and appreciate you. Have an amazing and beautiful day. Mwah. Bye.